What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about when Kevin Durant comes back, will he be able to be on Michael Jordan's level when he comes back? So let's see what they have to say about that.
Will he be as good as a player as he was in Golden State?
Absolutely. Listen, when you look at Kevin Durant's game, and I know a lot of times we lean to the body type to say it's a player like we've never seen, and it was LeBron because he was so big, so fast, so explosive, and we thought to ourselves, we've never seen a player like this. Well, I don't believe we've ever seen a player like Kevin Durant, a guy that long, that tall, that can handle like a guard, great mid-range game, and we even saw in his last outing in the finals a great deep ball, deep range shooter. And so when you have those type of skills, and I know the Achilles injuries are usually tough for basketball players to come back from, I believe Kevin Durant comes back, and he is that 26, 27-point game scorer. He is a guy who in the playoffs can turn it up and get you 32 a game the same way he was during this year's playoffs. Kevin Durant is so supremely talented. He is such a basketball savant that he will understand ways to get to his spots and score buckets. He's a guy who you can't contest because of the length, a guy who you can't stop because of the handle, and Kevin Durant will be the same type of offensive player as we've seen throughout his career.
I'm going to So I think Kevin Durant will come back, and he will be pretty much just as dominant as he was pre-injury, but I don't think he's going to be 100%. Now, he might be about 97, 98% of what he was, just for the simple fact that he got cut and had surgery. So he can't get back to being 100%. You can never get back. That's what I say. He's going to be about 97, 98%, and there's something to be said about a 7-footer that has a jumper from anywhere. Kevin Durant, he's a scoring machine. So I don't think we'll have any problem coming back and being what he was pre-injury. So let's continue.
On to that, then I have a point to make. First of all, even before I do that, what he said, the way he said it, when he said, you know who I am, everyone who's paying attention is like, whoa, look out. Something just changed about the way, we saw him. He was 18, 19 when we first saw him. He was a kid. Mm-hmm. And we've seen him grow into a man in front of our eyes. And this happens publicly for NBA superstars because they usually come out after a year of college at most. So there were growing pains and burner accounts and all these kind of things. And when he said that, it's like, and when he said that, well, that's the way you handle it. Mm-hmm. That's taking accountability. We can't even do the question today, like, do you think it's Golden State's fault? Because I did, but he's not leaving me any room to say that because he's taking full accountability like he means it. What a response. And I think it shows you he's now mentally and emotionally in a different place than he was earlier in his career, which gets me to the point. By the way, his defense has been elite, right? He can actually legit defend 5 positions, shot block. You think he's going to get back to his defensive level?
No, actually, if you would read the emails, right, I said in the email, I think that's where the game will suffer.
So he's not as good. You're just talking him getting the same numbers.
I spoke about him getting the same numbers as an offensive player, which is why you bring KD and Kyrie to Brooklyn, because you want to see them perform on the offensive end.
Okay, now to the point, finally. KD will never be as good as he once was, by your own admission, because half the game is defense. He will never be as good as he once was, I don't even think, on offense. As a result of that, he has the chance now to be greater than he's ever been. If Kevin Durant, as a diminished version of himself, can lead the Brooklyn Nets to a championship in the biggest, most intense media market in the world, in the center of the known universe by really any objective standard, in a town that hasn't won a basketball championship on a professional level since the New York Nets in 1976 in the ABA when Dr. J was the MVP, or on an NBA level since 1973 when the Knicks won, or in Brooklyn on any level in any sport, since the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1955, 64 years. If Kevin Durant can do that,
Max, but
he will enter the conversation as, when you talk about Jordan, well, who else? He will truly enter that conversation.
Wait a minute, Max. So if Kevin Durant wins one ring with the Brooklyn Nets, all of a sudden now he's on Michael Jordan status? See, he only has 2 rings. He tried to get his last one, or his 3rd one last year, but he was injured, which messed things up. But LeBron James is 3-6, and you're saying that he's not on Michael Jordan's level, and you talk about Kobe Bryant all the time, who has 5 rings, is not on Michael Jordan's level, but have Kevin Durant win a championship with the Brooklyn Nets, and all of a sudden now he jumps over all those guys and becomes on level with Michael Jordan, if not better than Michael Jordan? Something's wrong here, man. Something's just not adding up. Something's not adding up. But let's continue.
That's what this decision was about before the injury, right? Because everyone always looked at what he did at Golden State with an asterisk. It was always, you went to a team that won 73 games and also put you out of the playoffs when you were up 3-1. You joined a super team. He was considered the ultimate luxury. So this move was about making that happen anyway. This move was about being seen differently, being the reason a team got to a certain point and not just being a part of it. So I think that goes without the diminished talent, or if he's diminished as an athlete.
I'll tell you why it doesn't. I'll tell you why it.
No, he does. Kevin Durant doesn't get to jump over everybody else and get on par with Michael Jordan because he won a ring with the Brooklyn Nets. 1 ring? I could see maybe if he wins 5 in a row, 6 in a row, okay, we might be talking about Michael Jordan status or getting into the ballpark. But he wins 1 ring with the Brooklyn Nets, and all of a sudden now he's on par with Michael Jordan. He goes over Kobe Bryant. He goes over Magic. He goes over LeBron. He goes over Wilt. He goes over Kareem. He goes over all these guys off of 1 win with the Brooklyn Nets? I don't think so. I do not think so. It's going to take a lot more than that. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Let's continue.
I'll tell you why there's another level.
Willis Reed running back onto the court.
I'll tell you why there's another level. I'm surprised at you. You played a full contact sport. I know you're into the fight game and you're into different combat sports and stuff. You're like, a fighter, right? Like a tough guy. I'm surprised at you, Ryan Clark. Look, now let me give you a little history lesson on boxing.
Oh, the setup.
When Muhammad Ali was at his best in his first title run, they couldn't touch him. So the knock on him was, he's fast, he's great, he's really, really, really good. But how great is he? Could he have survived in wars with the former greats? They take him to the 14th, 15th round, and they're beating on his body. How's he going to respond then? Well, he couldn't really show that in the first go-round. He was too much better than everyone. Then there was a 3.5-year layoff forced by the government for refusing induction into the Army for the Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, when he comes out of and eventually he wins a Supreme Court case, but even before that, he's reinstated. And now he's fighting in the toughest era ever for heavyweights. And he ain't as fast anymore. So now he has to fight Joe Frazier, and he can't dance the way he once did. And he loses that fight. But greatest war anyone's ever seen, fight of the century, gets off the deck in the 15th round. Now he's a 5-1 underdog against George Foreman. Takes all the shots, knocks him out, gets his jaw broken against Kenny Norton, goes the distance, beats him in a rematch. When he wasn't as good anymore, in other words, partly because he was diminished, he got to show you greatness you wouldn't have otherwise seen. Kevin Durant on the Warriors, one of the issues was he's got all these weapons around him. You got to play man to man on Kevin Durant, really. He's going to beat you. What does that really prove? So I'm not denying that leaving the Warriors would have proven something anyway. But when you see him in a diminished state, if he's still able to figure it out without a super team, but listen, Kyrie Irving is a great player. Right. He's still got great.
Let me cut you off before the video ends. So I don't think you don't need to see Kevin Durant in a diminished state to understand that he's a good player and to understand that he's the best player in the league. And I'll give him that. So if he wins a championship with the Brooklyn Nets next year, I would definitely say that he's the best player in the league. As a matter of fact, right now, I think Kevin Durant is the best player in the league, and he has been for probably the past 2 or 3 years. Maybe mixing up with Kawhi a little bit, maybe LeBron. But for the most part, I would say Kevin Durant is the best player in the league right now. And all we would do next year, if he wins one with the Brooklyn Nets, is solidify that he's the best player in the league right now. Now, am I going to go so far as to say that he's better than Michael Jordan or on par with Michael Jordan? I'm not just ready to go there yet. I can't go there yet off of 1 win with the Brooklyn Nets. Like I said, he's going to need to win 4 or 5 championships in a row to get on the status of Michael Jordan. But I would definitely give him being the best player in the league, and that's pretty much all he can get next year if he wins one with Brooklyn. If he wins one with Brooklyn. But he's already everybody already thinks he's the best player in the league. So it's not really going to change much. I don't know. Let's continue.
If he's able to do that, it's going to speak to his greatness in a different way.
What will he be known as if he is able to go to Brooklyn as that diminished player and really do big things?
He will have an argument after Jordan for the greatest